Hi class, so now we're on to air masses, chapter 10, at least the first half of chapter 10. And with air masses, it is just this immense body of air that has properties of temperature and moisture associated with it. So if you look at a surface, and you can imagine it as being kind of like a bubble of air, a little different than the air parcels that we've been talking about as bubbles of air. These air masses are, just huge. They're perhaps 1,000 miles across. And now this isn't drawn to proportion, but it will be several kilometers or several miles in thickness. Okay, but the most important thing about an air mass is that it's got homogeneous properties of temperature and moisture. So we'll make two categories here, temperature and moisture. So in terms of temperature, it's classified in terms of polar. So capital P for polar, and that means that that air mass is going to be very cold. There's Arctic, and this is really cold. And the last one in terms of temperature is T for tropical. And as you would expect, this is going to be a warm air mass. All right, so those are the three categories of temperature, or the three homogeneous properties of an air mass that's based on temperature. And then we also classify air masses in terms of their moisture content. And so moisture content is pretty simple. It's a lowercase m for maritime. So maritime air will form over oceans, and as you would expect, this is going to be a moist air mass. And the other one is going to be a lowercase c for continental. Oop, there we go, continental. And a continental air mass is going to form over land, and so that will be dry. Okay, so those are our homogeneous properties of air masses. They're going to have properties of temperature and moisture, and you can mix or match these air masses. And so in the next video that I'm going to show you, we're going to mix and match these temperature and moisture characteristics and show you the source regions where these air masses are kind of born based on their homogeneous properties of temperature and moisture. All right, that's coming up next.